Good morning. It's day 66, and today's going to be the first of probably a couple of posts because there's something I'm trying to flesh out, and it's about the idea of compliance. I'd gotten an email this morning that was talking about it, and I was reminded of a story of something that happened several years ago in the area that I lived in at the time. There was a Christian school that was extremely well known, especially regionally. And it was grades 1 through 12. And it came down to 2 weeks before graduation. And there were 4 young men that were getting ready to graduate that school that were at someone's home. And the story was that these boys had never had anything to drink. And of course, the school had policies about drinking that you weren't allowed. And I don't know what the circumstances were that led to it, but apparently these boys were encouraged to try a beer. And that it was one beer that was split between the 4 young men. This happened on a Saturday, as I said, 2 weeks before graduation. Well, on Monday morning, they were very curtly evicted from school. Ejected and said, "You will not graduate." And I remember there was outrage and uproar over this scenario. And fortunately for the young men, there was another school that stepped up and said, "Look, come and roll in over here and we will let you walk with our graduating class. We will issue you your diplomas." Because they had good grades, they complied their entire education life. And if I remember correctly, it was even one of the parents that reported the 4 boys. And I can't help but wonder if that parent thought that by reporting the 4, that her son would be given some grace and would be allowed to finish his school year. And again, I don't know if it was the mom or the dad that ratted the kids out, but my guess is they had no clue that the consequence of that was going to affect them as much as it was the other 3. And as I've thought about that this morning, I thought, the entire 12 years that those boys were in school, they complied. They did all the things that they were supposed to do. They might have been athletes. They might have been on honor rolls. All I know is they were getting ready to graduate. And mom and dad knew about the rules and were okay with them because they didn't impact their kids. And so what I would like to encourage you today about is, who is it benefiting for you to comply? And the reason this is going to be more than one post is because I've spent a great deal of my life being compliant. I remember years ago thinking if somebody was going to pick out the compliant child in my family, it might be me. One of my sisters might have me beat, I'm not sure. But who is it benefiting if the stories that you've heard or the things that have been communicated to you, and I'm going to move kind of to the church life, if the things that have been communicated to you are all about rules and nothing is about relationship with God, who is that benefiting? Because I'm pretty sure it's not you. So it is day 66. We'll be back to talk about this tomorrow. I'll see you then.